today I'm going to show you how to get a hat that you've bought or a hat that you've had for a while to fit better inside here. So when you buy a hat, it's actually more critical about what size you buy. So often you'll put a hat on, it feels good in the store, you'll go home or they shape it and it changes completely. And so a lot of that has to do with when you go to bend these sides and do different things, it actually changes this oval shape. Now, a misconception that everyone has is that your head is oval. It is not. It's kind of oval on the back and then it narrows up in the front. And so it's critical to customize this inside band for you. So when I buy a hat, especially if I buy it online, which might be what you do, I buy it at least 1/8 of a size bigger than my head. So if you don't know the size of your head, there's some stuff online where you can, put a tape on your head and find out, or you can go to a store, put some hats on and know. So then order one at least 1/8. It is not uncommon for me to buy one 1/4 size bigger, and in the hat world, that's a lot. And so to make one smaller, so that it fits my head, the reason why I get it bigger so I can kind of customize that more area in there. A hat can, it will never get bigger. So that's why we go there. So it'll only get smaller. So here's an example of me buying a hat that's 1/4 size bigger, and this is the sweatband. They are made out of many different materials, especially in straws. They actually do work really well as a sweatband. So this one's a leather one, super common. You'll find that straw and felt hats. This is one that's called a moisture wicking one, super popular now. Doesn't matter the manufacturer of the straw hat. I don't know that I've seen one of those in a felt, but this does work. And so doesn't matter, it kind of can change what you can do with them a little bit. So this hat I bought 1/4 size too big. And so to make it smaller, I folded that sweatband over. So in some ways it uniformly made it smaller, which doesn't conform to the back of your head is bigger than the front of your head, but do whatever it takes to make it fit better. So that is an example of folding it over. Some people that have issues with it being too small will cut that out or cut sections of that out. I've shaped some hats for people that I didn't even know that was an option, and I did that for my own hat. What that will allow you to do is obviously have some space, because believe it or not, even when that sweatband is flat, that's still comprising 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch, and that might be all you need to feel comfortable. The worst thing you can do is cram a hat on your head all day long and get a migraine. That's just not worth your time. So here's another hat. I believe I got this one just 1/8 bigger, not necessarily for any reason, but inside of here, and I'll flip this upside down so you can see, I haven't done really any alterations, but you can see this is actually electrical tape, which I didn't even think about when I was going to make this video. That's a good way to do it. The reason why is that doesn't really change its thickness over time. So you can put that in there and it kind of sticks in there. Sometimes when your hat falls off and you have a whole bunch of stuff in there and it just comes flying out like a piñata, that's not necessarily good, especially if you're doing something where you need to be helpful and you're picking up your stuffing out of there. That's not necessarily good. So that's an example of electrical tape. I felt in this hat that I needed a little bit of space, or space comprised right there. The rest of the hat felt good. That's electrical tape. And I can certainly show you how to do that. Some of this is just deciding on what you want to do. So here are another couple options. So typically when you buy a hat at a store and if they shape it for you, do different things, they actually have these really cool foam rolls, and it's like weather stripping, and you can go buy that as well. I'm just a little bit too cheap to do that. And they'll put that in different sections of your hat where you feel like you need more support. Because you might put on a hat and shake your head in the front, just jiggles. That means you might need something there, and you will put that in there and realize, oh shoot, that kind of hurts my head. So it might be somewhere else. So here's generic paper towel, here's toilet paper. Both of them, if you fold them over, you can make them as thick as you want, okay? And deciding how thick and wide you make this strip, that's totally up to you. So I'm gonna put that in a wool hat that I have here. I think this one might have some in it. So let's take a peek in there. You can't see anything along that edge. So we're just gonna pretend that this hat doesn't fit well. I'll move these other two out of the way. And we're going to say that in the back two sections of this, I need some support. So if I want just a little bit, I might use toilet paper instead of a paper towel, or I will only bend over the paper towel for a little bit. If you're out on the town and your hat is not fitting well, I'm pretty sure in any public restroom, you can find one of these. So I'm gonna do it with the toilet paper for now, just to make it simple. Okay, so I'm gonna rip this guy in half. A smart person would have probably found a seam and ripped it, but that's not me. So here we go, I'm gonna fold this about the same thickness or half of that thickness, definitely not thicker than that. And I'm gonna put that in. So I'm gonna fold that over. That's my little pad. The more you wear that, the more that'll sink down. So when you first put it on, you'll think, oh my word, that is too tight. Either take some of it out or just give it some time. So now that you have this, we're gonna go ahead and put it in here. Now, it is somewhat critical to make sure that this is symmetrical where you're putting the two of them. You'll find out pretty quickly that they're not even. But here's the secret. So in here, there's a natural ledge. You can't miss it. It's where this stitch starts. And so there's a place for this. It's not just arbitrarily gonna sit in there. So I'm gonna set that fold side down and try to get it to conform to that spot. Okay, so I just kind of press that in there. And then I'm gonna fold that dude over. So that just, in effect, made this section of this hat move in 1/16, 1/8 of an inch, we don't know. That's gonna change over time. Like I said, when you wear it, it might feel pretty tight at first. And so either wait it out, make it smaller, or you can come right here and kind of give it a good push. That kind of cram it back down there. So I put it on that side. Usually when you put stuff like this, you need to be symmetrical. So if you feel like left and right, you need help, you need to do both, because otherwise your hat will be, one whole half inch one way. If it's front and back, you might only need to put some in the back or some in the front. So here's my second one. In theory, I would do this perfectly. The odds of me doing that are pretty low, but here it comes. So same idea. I was about right there. I'm gonna stick it in that little crease, flip it over, flip everybody over, make sure it's good to go. And so then when I put that hat in or on, those will make that tighter. So that's how you customize those. You could certainly use this as well. This might change over time. When you go to shape it maybe another time, that'll do stuff. It's not uncommon to daily adjust your hat, find ways to make it fit better. I talk to a lot of people that say, I've worn this hat forever, and this year it's just hurting my head. And so we might do some more videos on how to stretch a hat, but especially if you bought a hat that's bigger, these are some daily things that you can do to make your hat